Well, it feels brilliant, but some of that is excitement, but a lot of it is relief, in all honesty. The whole thing has been a really, really complex project to try to get to where we are today. But look, people will look back in the next few years and they won't remember all of that. They'll just see a 21st century transport network developing.
Well, as you know, it's about a lot more than just buying a new fleet of trains and expect them to work on ancient infrastructure. So we've done a number of packages of work. We've modernised the depot. Most of that's been at Kirkdale, which is now a very modern facility. These trains are going to be the first ones in the country to offer universal level boarding. Every passenger, every door, every platform. So we've re-engineered together with Network Rail over 100 of the platforms on the network to get the consistent height and offset. The power supply we knew was one of the weaker features of the network. These trains 3 times more powerful than what they're replacing, and the old trains were able to cope dipping below 400 volts. We didn't think that would work, so we've invested a lot of money. There are a lot more cables out there, new substations, new bulk feed points between Network Rail and Scottish Power. And then finally we're about halfway through a process of platform lengthening, signal moves, buffer stop replacements and track re-engineering, essentially to cater for when we run 8-car trains, which will be towards the end of the rollout programme. And Network Rail and we're delivering those works as we speak.
So today we're seeing our first passenger launch on the Kirby line, so it's going to be the 1050 from Liverpool Central to Kirby. So it's a soft launch really, so we'll have one circuit and then we'll start to have another circuit in around 2 weeks, and then another circuit which will then be the whole of the Kirby line. And then we'll look to roll out on the Ormskirk line. Obviously we need to understand how well the rollout's gone, reliability, but the plan is that we will then roll out to the Ormskirk line.
We've got 12 months or so to go until all of it is rolled out, but people will see these new trains and then be able to sit and experience these new trains, for me, which are totemic, because the whole thing wasn't just about trying to get new trains. That was important because these old ones, unbelievably, are well past their sell-by date, and we could have just bought something off the shelf and we could have got a train operating company to buy them for us, but we didn't. We've designed them in consultation with user groups, with people with disabilities, all sorts of input, and we're buying them for the people of the Liverpool City region who will own their own trains. I think we're the first in the whole country to do this. So for me it's about what is transport in the future looking like. Well, it's looking like we've got in the Liverpool City region. 3/4 of our stations are already accessible, and we're doing some more this year, but we need to make it 100% successful, because it's no good at having the best trains going, the most accessible trains going, if people can't get onto the platform. So the whole thing has been planned, and we've, as I say, for 6 years we've been looking at every single aspect of what we needed to do, and we've done that. And over the next few months, people will see more and more of these trains introduced, as more and more drivers obviously are trained in the specific route that they're taking these trains on. But that's not the end of it. We want these to link up with our buses. We've got an active travel network that we just put £50 million more into, and we're also looking at a new ferry and the refurbishment of one of the old ferries. So the whole thing will feel very, very differently in the next few years.
In terms of the rollout, the key thing is ensuring the reliability and the consistency of the service. So once we've done the Kirby, once we've done the Ormskirk, what we'll then look to say is actually where's then the best line? Is it a New Brighton? Is it a West Kirby? Is it Northern? What is the best line for us? So whilst we have a rollout date in mind, it is clearly all down to how well each line actually goes and the success of each line, which I have absolutely I have no reason to think it's not going to be a phenomenal success.
The testing is substantially complete. We've got the beginnings of reliability growth. Every new fleet has to go through this. So we feel as though there's a new chapter about to start in the project. We're looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes. But no, the testing is complete.
Again, what we want is, we want modal shift. We want more people out of the cars. We want to do our bit to try and tackle some of the climate emergency issues and poor air quality that we have. And you do that by having a quality alternative to the car. So we want to do that, but we want to take it further. We want to take it to areas where beforehand there was no chance, it was financially impossible for us to make it stack up, because the infrastructure needed to be upgraded, because it's third live rail, and so we needed to have invested in that. Actually, lots of places that's not suitable anyway because they're in communities and the voltage that goes through the third live rail. So we've found an alternative, which is battery technology. And so these new sophisticated trains, some of them have got battery technology, and we can go to places that beforehand we never even thought we would be able to reach.
The first IPMU, it completed its testing in Wildenrath before Christmas. It was delivered to us here on the network last week. We're going to be going, once we get today done, we'll be getting out, we'll be doing our EMC testing and then testing how they work together with the non-battery sets.
Our post-pandemic levels, not quite where they were pre-pandemic, but we've recovered really, really quickly. More on rail than on bus, in all honesty, and some of the travel patterns are different than they were pre-pandemic. But we're starting to see a lot more people using it, and of course, having a quality train like we've just been on and sampled and experienced ourselves, hopefully that'll attract more and more people. Get rid of the car, use public transport, use our trains, and then we'll build this integrated transport network that everybody can be proud of.